Good morning. Of course, once again, I am not in school again today. Uh, Hopefully, I will be back either tomorrow or possibly I might need a few extra days during the weekend to recover, but hopefully, I should be back soon. The quarter does end tomorrow. So, what does that mean? That means tomorrow at noon, no matter what you have done or don't have done, I have to submit grades. For the vast majority of you, that means everything is just great. You have all your assignments done, you have all your IXLs done, everything is fantastic. For some of the rest of you, you better get working. Hopefully by now I have sent you an email saying of telling you of all your missing assignments and how many IXL skills you've gotten done. There are a total of 4 due this week. It's less than usual because there's only 4 days in the week and it ends at noon tomorrow. By the way, did you hear me say noon tomorrow? Noon tomorrow will be the last moment you have to complete any assignment. So if you want to get your grade up there, then you're going to have to work to get it up there. So today's lesson is Unit 3, Lesson 11, combining mixed numbers with unlike denominators. Now that sounds a little bit more intimidating than the actual lesson is. I believe it's a little bit easier than that. It's going to be kind of like the very end of the lesson that you had on Tuesday, where we were doing some regrouping with when you have a whole number and no fraction. But we'll take a look at that. So the very first slide here is I can use number lines or models to subtract mixed numbers with regrouping, and I can write my answer in proper simplified form. So this is the first problem, and you should have this problem in your notebooks. So if you have not yet gotten to your notebook to look at this problem, please get there. And it says type one thing that you notice. Well, if you're typing, you're doing something you shouldn't be because you should just be watching this video, but you can be writing it down. Something you might notice is that there's a mixed number and there's a whole number. Now, this type of problem, in my opinion, is pretty simple, and you could use a number line that shows this, okay? And if you were to actually write this out, let me see, let me find my drawing tools. There it is. Remember, you want to write it vertically, so it'd be 2 3/10, and you'd want to write this right over top of 3, but there's no fraction down here. Okay, so if we were to add the fractions first, it would just be a simple bring down to 3/10. That's pretty simple. Then we add the 2. Whoops, forgot to put the plus sign in here. 2 plus 3 is 5. Now, we're showing this to you on the number line because you could add 2, a 1, a 2, and then you could add 3 more, a 1, a 2, a 3, which takes us to 5. And then if you put 3/10, these little bumps here are as if we just took 3, we divided this rest of the space into 10 equal pieces, and we only moved up 3/10. So our answer would be 5 3/10. Excuse me. So that's our first one. And I don't really believe it gets much more difficult than that. Maybe a little bit. But if you follow along, it should be just fine. Okay, let me get back to my pointer tool and go to the next page. So here we show, well, I guess it's the exact same problem, and we're showing it to you as a model. So you could show this once again as a model by simply filling in 2, and we'd fill in 2 whole spaces. And over here, we're going to fill in 3. Now, while I'm filling in these little spaces, if you by some chance do not have your notebook open and you are not doing this, as I'm filling them in, you could be getting out your notebook. You could also be strategizing how you're going to possibly get all those IXLs done that you haven't gotten done yet. Just saying. Okay, so we have 2 over there and 3 over there, which if you count them together, that becomes 5. And then over on the other side, we have to divide this into 10 equal pieces. So let's see. Hey, I discovered a straight line tool. Isn't that pretty cool? Here, let me make this a little bit better. Maybe? I thought that would work. Whoa, where'd it go? Yikes. Okay, maybe we'll forget that. Let me just go back to the straight line tool and I'll do the best I can. Okay, so let's see. We divide this into 10 equal pieces. 1, 2. They're not exactly equal, but that's okay. Doing the best I can with my finger. 1, 2, 3, likes, 4, 5. Okay, now let's pretend these are all equal. They're not, but let's pretend. And then we're going to get our nice little marker here. We're going to fill in 3 of them. You could see the problem that exists with making a model, okay? It's just not always going to be accurate, but this gives you the basic idea that 2 3/10 plus 3 gives you 5 3/10. And then we once again have the exact same model that I just did on the previous page, where you just simply add the 3/10 plus nothing, which is 3/10. And 2 plus 3 is 5. So our answer is 5 3/10, whether we do it on a number line using models or just straight out do the calculation. All right. Excuse me. So let's erase all this and move on to the next page. We'll see more problems just like this. Okay, so in this case, it's 1 minus 1/4. So using a number line, you see that you go all the way out to 1, and then it's like you're taking the line and you're dividing it into 4 equal pieces and you move back 1/4. So what would that actually be? That would be 3/4. You could use the model and you could take 1 whole. And if you took 1 whole and then you said, I want to take take away 1/4 of this, you would just simply divide it into 4 equal pieces and you would get rid of one of them. And that would give you 3/4 left. Or you could do it the calculation method. Now, this is where it's just like what we talked about 2 lessons ago on Tuesday. I believe it was lesson 8, where we took the whole number and we said, well, we have to have a fraction up here. And so we're going to regroup. We're going to make this a 0, and we're going to make this a fraction. And since the 4 is in the denominator, our fraction will be 4/4 because 4/4 equals 1. And 4/4 minus 1/4 equals 3/4. And as always, we need to stop. Is this an improper fraction? The answer is no. Is it simplified? The answer is yes. So we are done with this one. See what I was talking about? This isn't all that difficult. I do hope that you are writing this down inside your notebook. It is kind of hard for me because I don't see what you're doing. I thought about having each of you take a picture of your notebook and show it to me, but I just thought that might be a little bit too much. Okay, so we have 2 minus 3/5. So if we were to look at this through the lens of a number line, we would go forward to 1, 2, buckle my shoe, 3, 4, shut the door. No, just that far, okay? And then it says minus 3/5. Well, we have to divide this like it's into 5 equal pieces. focusing if you didn't figure that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we went back 3/5, we go 1, 2, 3. And that would actually be 1 and 2/5. Now, if we were to actually do this as a model, then we would view this one as a whole. There's got to be some bigger tool than that. Let me see. No, there is not. Okay, so I stand corrected. Okay, so let's just continue coloring this baby in. That's my coloring in sound effects. So we went ahead 1, 2. Now this one we're taking away 3/5. So we have to divide this into 5 equal pieces. And if we took 3 away, 1, 2, 3, that leaves us 2/5. So the answer again would be 1 and 2/5. But the method I like the best is the calculation method. Because the calculation method just takes care of it quickly, and it's the way you're going to be doing it more often. And it's the most efficient. Did I mention it's the most efficient? It's the most efficient. Oh, by the way, did I also mention that the quarter ends on Friday, 2 days? Oh, no, not even 2 days. 1 day at noon, and you have 4 IXLs. Just in case you didn't pick that up before, that's noon tomorrow. Grades need to be done, and 4 IXLs. Okay, if you don't have it done, nothing I could do because I just have to submit your grades. So let's calculate. Did I mention, by the way, that the quarter ends tomorrow at noon? All right, so if we write this out, we're going to write it vertically. And we keep the fractions with the fractions and the whole numbers with the whole numbers. And we write it this way because look at, there is no fraction. So what are we going to go do over here? We're going to regroup. We're going to regroup that to 1. And then we have to create a fraction that equals 1, but we don't want to make our life difficult. This one already has a 5 as a denominator. And since it has a 5 as a denominator, we're going to make that fraction 5/5 because we know already, hopefully by now, that 5/5 equals 1. So 5/5 minus 3/5 equals 2/5. And we still got to bring down this 1 that's over here. So our answer is 1 and 2/5. Ask ourselves the question, is that an improper fraction? The answer, no. Do we need to simplify? No. Are we done? Yes. That's the answer we all like to hear, isn't it? By the way, in case I didn't mention it, the quarter ends tomorrow at noon, and you have 4 IXL skills that need to be done. Just saying. Hopefully I've emailed you that information by now, and you know if you're in trouble or not. Okay, so the next one. The thing about recording is you start talking to yourself a lot more because there's nobody else down here. I'm saying down here because I'm in my basement. Okay, so we have 2 minus 1 and 3/4. So let's write it vertically. Minus 1, whole numbers with whole numbers, 3/8. Now, some of you should already be asking yourselves, what's that fraction that equals 1 that I'm going to put up here to subtract the 3/8? And all you have to do to get that answer is look at, whoops, I lost, whoa. Hate it when it does that. I'm trying to be silly and it's messing with me. Okay, so see this 8? It's right there, right there, right there. Okay, that's going to tell us that our denominator is going to be 8. Oh, we have to regroup. And our numerator is going to be 8 because 8/8 equals 1, and we took 1 away from the whole number. So 8/8 minus 3/8 equals. By the way, did I mention that tomorrow is, yeah, I think I did, the last day of the quarter. Okay, noon. 5 IXL skills. Okay, so 8/8 minus 3/8 equals 5/8, and 1 minus 1 equals none, which we do not need to write because it's none. All right, so our answer is 5/8. Is this an improper fraction? The answer is no. Does it need to be simplified? The answer is no. Can we move on? Absolutely. After I erase all of this. All right, so now we have 4 and minus 2 and 2/7. Okay, we did see this one briefly when I accidentally clicked on the wrong screen. So we write it vertically. Keep the whole numbers together. Put the fraction right underneath it. Okay. What's the number one number we should be looking at? In case you didn't see it, this one right here, because we don't have a fraction up here. So we have to subtract from something. So we have to take 1 away from here, and it's going to be 7 as a denominator because that one has a 7, and the numerator is going to be 7. Now, why did we choose 7/7? Well, I could choose 8/8, but if I choose 8/8, I'd have to find common denominators, and that's a lot more work, and who wants to do that? So 7/8 minus 2/8 equals, whoops, see, now I'm saying eighths. 7/7 minus 2/7 equals 5/7. Excuse me. And 3 minus 2 equals 1. Is this an improper fraction? Nope. Is this, can I reduce it? No, I cannot. Am I done? Absolutely. So we move on to the next one, maybe. Ooh, getting into some bigger numbers, big and challenging. Not really. All right, so we write it vertically. 17 minus 15 and 2/3. Now we already see we do not have a fraction up here. So where are we focused on this fraction over here? Hint, hint. That number right there. Okay, so we're going to take and regroup. So this becomes 16. And what fraction are we going to write? 3/3. 3/3 minus 2/3 equals 1/3. 16 minus 15 equals 1. Our answer, 1 and 1/3. Is this an improper fraction? No. Do we need to simplify it? No. Are we done? Yes. Okay, so well, that's it for today's lesson. Now, we do have the IXL skills, which has common factor will be 100. If you look at these, it says, which of the following expressions equals 47? Well, anytime that you see just 10, you're going to just multiply it times 10/10. And the easy way to do that is just put a 0 after each one. And if you do that, this one here would be 47/100. This one here would be 40. I'm sorry, yeah, 47. Which of the following expressions equals 47/100? So which one? Both of them do. Okay. In this case, I'm looking, like, did I miss something? And the answer is no. Okay. So we move on to the next one. Same thing. Okay, it says which of the following expressions equals 26 hundredths? Okay, so this one is not 100. So we're going to make it 100 by multiplying it by 10 tenths. Okay, when we do that, it makes it 10 100ths. And so this one's going to be 26, and it's going to stay 100 because both denominators are 100. And this is the only one here that doesn't have it. So once again, 10, 26, 26 100ths. Do they both equal 26 hundredths? Yes, they do. And it does get a little bit more complicated. Okay. So if you look here, once again, we're looking for 19. Okay, the reason why I'm just adding a 0 to the end of these is because I'm multiplying it by 10 tenths. And if I look here, this is 10, this is 16, 26, 36. Is that going to be 19 100ths? No way. Okay, so what about this one? It says 10 plus 9. Is that going to be? Yes, it is. That one works. Okay, so let's see. 4 plus 50 is going to be 54. Nope. 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 10 is 19. Yes. So some answers are going to have more than one correct answer. So make sure you're careful about that. And if by some chance you haven't completed IXL skills, this one looks pretty simple for completing. So I'd spend some time on that one. The other ones have to do with using multiplication facts to find the common factor. You're going to have to find the common factor between, oh, look, they all have the same 3/8, 5/8, and 7/8. In all, how many hours did Janelle spend in the bookstore? So you add 3/8, 5/8, and 7/8. Boy, that's easy. Guarantee it's going to be an improper fraction. So you're going to need to make it into a mixed number, which means you're going to divide it, and then you might need to simplify. And the same thing here, all 11ths. So you just add them all together. How many miles did Allie run in total? That's not too bad. Okay, then it changes. Sophie made a trail mix for backpacking trip. She used 2/3 of a pound of peanuts, 2/3 of a pound of chocolate chips, 1/12 of a pound of raisins, and 1/3 of a pound of almonds. How many pounds of trail mix did Sophia make? Well, if you look carefully, we have a third, we have a third, and we have a third, but this one's a 12. So what are we going to multiply times this 3 to make it a 12? We're going to multiply 4/4. Okay, so that would change this to 8/12. That would change this to 8/12, and that would change this to 4/12. So you'd add 8/12 plus 8/12 plus 4/12 plus 1/12. Guarantee you're going to end up with an improper fraction. And then you're going to need to divide it out so you can make it into a mixed number and simplify if necessary. Okay, another example, and here's our lesson. So you do have an assignment for tomorrow. It is your very last assignment of the second quarter, not of the school year, but the second quarter. And you do have 2 IXLs that are due today. In case I didn't mention before, the quarter ends tomorrow at noon. So I'm hoping this lesson will be done a lot sooner than usual. Then that will give you a lot of time to be working on IXL skills and your assignment. If you are not working on what you should be, you are hurting yourself. Some of you are real close on your grades that if you miss out on those IXL skills, it's going to change your grade from what it is to what you don't want it to be. So, and some of you, you could bring your grade up to something better if you complete your work. So, Let's get going right now on the assignment. Let's get going on those IXL skills. The quarter does end tomorrow at noon, and there are 4 IXL skills due by tomorrow. Please work hard, give it your best. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to send me an email. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.